Here. Next item agenda, recognition of Live Oak High School, Live Oak Middle School, North Live Oak Elementary School, and South Live Oak Elementary School as Best of the Best award winners. Ms. Dickerson.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask these four principals from the Live Oak schools to come up. They were featured in Baton Rouge Parents Magazine. It's been around for, I think, 40 years now, and it's one of the best magazines that does so much for kids and promotes our kids on so many levels. And to have four of our schools in Livingston Parish and four right from the Live Oak District, I'm beyond proud of you amazing principals. I want to say that Ms. Beth Jones, Live Oak High School, was favorite public high school winner for 2021. Ms. Michelle Stone was Principal of the Year. Ms. Amy Savage was favorite elementary school. And Mr. Hodges at Live Oak Middle was favorite middle school Principal of the Year. And I'm so biased, but are they not only beautiful on the outside, they have beautiful hearts, and they do a fantastic job with our kids. And thank you is not enough. We're delighted to have a 2-page spread in Baton Rouge Parents Magazine so everybody can see, not just in Livingston Parish, but all over South Louisiana and then some. And we are also very thankful for Lamar and Joan Signs for doing a billboard for us as well, to thank y'all for what you do. And I would love for y'all to speak. I could go on and brag about y'all all day long and all the wonderful things that y'all have going on. I was telling Mr. Gray we could do feature stories every day with all the different positive things taking place at your Live Oak schools.
Well, I can speak for us four that we are just so lucky to be a part of the Live Oak community and the Livingston Parish School Board. We just do our job because we love kids. That's it. And we want to thank everybody who voted for us, and we're just humbled by the experience. So we thank you.
We want to thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Y'all have copies? Do y'all need copies?
Oh, no.
Anybody that wants one, I have a few extras too.
I'll share with you. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the school board meeting held on October the 21st, 2021. Mr. Cox makes a motion that we approve those minutes, and Ms. Benton seconds it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign. It's unanimous. Agenda item number 4, consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution canceling an election called by a resolution adopted on August 5th, 2021 to authorize the incurring of debt and issuance of bonds in school district number 24 of the Parish of Livingston, state of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Akers. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Akers could not be here, and Ms. Stewart called me this morning and asked me if I could
Well,
plan on attending. I said I was.
you.
If y'all have any questions, this is very simple. After the hurricane, Dr. Gregoire and I talked a couple of times, and both just kind of felt that the impact that the Albany community had faced due to Hurricane Ida, that it probably wasn't a good time to do the 2 tax elections. So item 4 and 5 are the same. It's just basically rescinding the 2 tax election calls that we were scheduled for the Albany School District. Probably revisit that at a later date.
Okay. Any questions, comments? We're going to need a roll call. Ms. Rhonda, call roll, please.
You got a motion and second?
Oh, wait. We
Yeah,
gotta
we
have
need
a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve it.
Dr. Gregoire made a motion and Mr. Cox seconded it. Now we can have a roll call.
Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Perino?
Here.
Dr. Gregoire?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes. Okay, the next agenda item is, like I said, basically the same thing. I guess I need to read it, huh, Mark?
Yes. You need to read the agenda on them.
Okay. Consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution canceling an election called by a resolution adopted on August 5th, 2021 to authorize the levy of a sales and use tax in sales tax district number 24 of the Parish School Board of the Parish of Livingston, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Okay, this is basically the same thing. So
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Dr. Grego made a motion and Mr. Cox seconded it. Any comments or questions? Need a roll call, Ms. Rhonda. Call roll, please.
Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Carino?
Yes.
Dr. Gregoire?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Ryan.
Thank you, Jim.
Next agenda item, discussion and action on cooperative endeavor agreement with the Parish of Livingston for Hurricane Ida debris removal. Ms. Gill.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, I am asking for you to approve a cooperative endeavor with the parish. This is for vegetation debris removal. So far, the vegetation debris that we have had to remove, we were able to move it to the right-of-way, and the parish has already started that process of getting it removed. We do have some debris that is actually located on our campuses that are past our gates and our property line. So this cooperative endeavor would authorize the parish to enter our property and remove that debris for us. This would prevent us from having to go and get any quotes or bids or anything else that would delay that from occurring. The parish already has an existing contract in place that's been properly procured, so this would save us that. The only stipulation on the agreement is the fact that whatever the cost share that the parish has to pay from FEMA, we would reimburse. So with any storm that cost might be 0, or it could be 30%. Right now, we're expecting it to be 10% for this removal. But whatever that is, whatever the parish has to pay, we would be responsible for that portion.
How do they determine, like, what comes, I mean, do they just measure, what comes off your property or something, and it's like, this is how much it's gonna cost?
Yes, sir. So Mark Harrell, which was the previous LoSEP director, would be is the one overseeing it. What he advised is that he would send a truck, go to our locations, only fill our debris, and then bring it directly to the disposal site. And if it takes more rounds, that's fine, but it would only be our debris, in those trucks.
We pay by the load?
I believe it's the cubic ton.
And we're gonna get the certified copies from the scales about the weight and stuff?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brad Harris makes a motion that we accept this, and Dr. Gregoire seconded. Any other further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign. Thank you, Ms. Gill.
Thank you.
Ms. Gill, I do have a real quick question. Do they have a timeline for us on this after this is approved?
Plans to do it next week. As far as the payment or the pickup?
The completion?
The completion, he plans to start tomorrow and finish next week.
By the end of the week next week?
There's not that many sites.
Right. Thank you.
It shouldn't cost too much. Okay. Next agenda item, ratify bids received on October 19th, 2021 for baseball, softball facilities, Marpaw High School and Holden High School. Mr. Elzar.
Mr. Graham, Mr. Murphy, members of the board, we received bids on, this project consisted of lighting for the Marpaw baseball field and lighting for the Holden baseball field, along with some fencing improvements and a field house. The bids that we received were extremely out of line. Part of that comes from we did not get enough participation from the bidders. So so what we would like to do, we would recommend at this time that we do not accept these bids. And the next agenda item is
The to
Going out.
re-advertise.
This agenda item, I would definitely recommend we do not.
Did we reject the bids?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Reject bids.
Okay, do we have to have a motion and a second to
Yes.
reject these bids?
You reject all bids, right?
Okay. Mr. Cecil Harris makes a motion that we reject these bids, and Mr. Bradley Harris seconds that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
question. So the numbers that you have down here on this sheet, I'm assuming you have that, this is this was the estimate range that we were looking for, and these were the numbers we got. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Kick 'em to the curb.
I kind of figured the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it came from, there were certain categories that there was only one bidder.
Yeah, you're looking at more than twice what was
Yeah.
anticipated, so. Okay, where was that? We got a motion and a second, and we were ready to vote, weren't we? Okay. Any more questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by the like sign. Okay. Bid was rejected. Agenda item number 8, authorized to re-advertise for bids for baseball, softball facilities, Marpole High School and Holden High School. And
Graham, Mr. Murphy, members of the board, we would like to reduce the scope or change the scope of this project. And we would also like to put the lighting for both fields in the base bid, put the fencing as an alternate bid, and put the field house as an alternate bid. That way you have the choice to just do the lighting if the bids come in okay, or do the lighting and the fencing, or do the lighting and the field house. That way you don't have to throw out all the bids, and you can choose what you want to do.
any questions?
And then what, as far as reducing the scope, you just talking about splitting the scope, not necessarily reducing
On
the
the
scope?
base bid, correct?
On the base bid, well, the base bid's going to stay the same. Both lighting packages, there's very little that we can reduce to reduce the scope. We plan on putting metal poles as an alternate versus concrete poles, but that price will not go down that much. We're going to reduce the scope of the field house. The individual subcontractor prices on the field house were so far out of line, it was ridiculous. So the field house will be the same size. We'll just take a lot of items out of it and see how that comes in.
And the types of items you're reducing from the field house would be
Well,
things like the lockers or
Yeah,
partitioning walls or?
the original project was concrete block. And just the concrete block, the price for just the concrete block was over $100,000. The price for the metal trusses was $66,000, in that range. That's just not acceptable. So we'd like to go with wood construction and see what that price comes in at.
What is the life frame of the differences between wood, metal, and concrete?
Well, obviously, concrete block would last the longest, and wood would last.
Right. But I mean, are we talking about 30, 40, and 50, or 30, 50, and 100?
Oh, no,
years,
if
or-
concrete block is 100, I'm guessing wood framing might be 35,000.
No, I'm talking about lifetime.
Oh, lifetime?
Yeah, lifespan, yes.
Well, I mean, you have, the field house is basically built like a residence, and residences last 100 years.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be concerned about bidding it as a wood structure as far as life expectancy of the field house is concerned.
Let's get another hurricane.
Yeah. And, okay.
You gonna turn right around right now to rebid, or are you gonna wait a little while, being that the environment that we're in is kind of?
Well, it's pretty much up and down now. Anyway,
Well, I
we're
think his
talking building
question is,
materials.
was it labor cost or was it material cost that
Material.
drove it up so much?
Materials, yeah.
So would it be prudent to wait 2 months before we rebid it, or rebid it now would be?
We don't see that much of a reduction in cost. I mean, if you rebid it with the fence as an alternate and the field house as an alternate, then you could at least do the lighting. So it'd give both fields the lighting that they were looking for.
And to be honest with you, the original plan was to have this in place by the time baseball season rolled around.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
at least the lighting.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you get the lights.
And the lead time on these items are ridiculous.
Yeah, as with everything
If you can
else
even get it.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, somebody refresh my memory.
We need a motion.
We don't have a motion on this one yet? All right.
So I'll make a motion to approve the reissuance of bids.
Okay, and Mr. Cox seconds that motion. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed by the like sign. It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Elazar. Oh, you still up here? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's not, nothing personal. Okay, next agenda item is
We don't know if we're going to approve it.
is approval of change order number 5 for Southside Junior High and Southside Elementary. Mr. Elazar.
Back again. Change order number 5 deals with more of the value engineering items that originally we thought we could take advantage of at the beginning of the project, but as the project went on, we realized that we couldn't take advantage of some of those items. There's also some items in here that, due to one thing or another, they had to redesign the HVAC or some lighting, or we added doors in here. So this change order is for the amount of $448,100. It's change order number 5 for Southside, and I would recommend that we accept that change order.
Okay.
We at the comment part yet? You're killing us.
I don't think we have a
Ben, were
choice.
you?
I'm going to make a motion.
Oh, okay, you're making a motion that we accept this change order. And Mr. Mr. Cecil Harris
We really don't.
seconds that motion. Okay, now you can make comments if you so desire.
You're killing us.
We are more than 50% complete with the project, and we're hoping that this is more or less the end of the change orders.
That-
There's a couple more items that are still hanging out there, but nothing comparable to this.
Pretty much on time, 50%? I mean, that.
As of right now, we
Okay.
plan on having school there next August.
Great, that's good, that's good.
They are starting the air conditioners in the gym and the cafeteria the second week of December.
Really?
Wow.
They have the chillers on site?
They're on.
They're package units or they're chillers?
Chillers.
Chillers.
That's great. Any other comments?
Yeah, the raised platform in the back, is that the chiller yard?
Yes, sir, that's the chillers.
Okay. And I'm just wondering.
Are they really loud?
They're a chiller, yes, they are.
Neighbors will be okay.
The neighbors?
They're not okay at Denham.
And, yeah, that's the problem over there.
Well, it's a little bit different circumstances to Southside.
I think we have a motion and a second, and of course, we've got discussion still, so. Y'all good?
Yep.
No more questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed by the like sign? It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Elazar. Wait, where am I?
Item 10.
Yeah, okay. Next agenda item, ratify bids received on October 28th, 2021 for bids for classroom additions South Live Oak Elementary School. Ms. Dickerson, you gonna handle that one?
I am, and I want to point out that our architect, Chris Bankston's under the weather. Miss Monica Perez from Gasway Bankston is here tonight.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you.
And Monica, on the contrary, we're actually pleased that we came out with our bids lower than what we had projected. Our base bid is $821,800, and it's awarded to Macklin Construction, and he seemed very confident with his numbers. And I would like to make a motion to accept the low bid with Macklin Construction.
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Graywild seconds that they accept that bid. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Dixon. Okay, where are we? Okay, agenda item number 11, discussion action on report of the Transportation Committee meeting held on November the 1st, 2021. Ms. Benton.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Graham. The Transportation Committee met on Monday, November 1st, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. in the School Board Office Conference Room. Committee members present, Mr. Brad Harris, Mr. Cecil Harris, and myself. Board members present, Ms. Kelly Dickerson, Mr. Jeff Cox, Mr. Bo Graham, Mr. Frank Perino, and Mr. Devin Gregoire. Others present were Superintendent Alan Murphy, Assistant Superintendent Steve Harrell, and Jody Purvis, Transportation Supervisor Josh Day, and others. I called the meeting to order and stated the purpose of the meeting was discussion and action on the following: purchase of new buses. Transportation Supervisor Josh Day presented a proposal to purchase 28 new buses from Kent Mitchell for a total cost of $2,579,499.04. The 2022-23 ESSER allotment for buses will cover the cost for the purchase of the buses. After a brief discussion, a motion was offered by Mr. Brad Harris, seconded by Mr. Cecil Harris, to accept the proposal to purchase 28 buses for a total of $2,579,499.04. The vote on the motion was as follows: yeas, Mr. Brad Harris, Cecil Harris, and myself; nays, none, absent Mr. Brad Sharp. The vote was unanimous to present to the full board for approval. A motion to adjourn was offered by Mr. Brad Harris, seconded by Cecil Harris, and there being no further business before the committee adjourned.
Thank you. Ms. Benton, this being a committee report, you don't need a motion or a second. We just need we're going to do a roll call vote, Ms. Rhonda, if that's okay.
Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Perino?
Yes.
Dr. Gregoire?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes. Next agenda item, discussion and action on a report of Budget Goals Committee meeting held on November the 1st, 2021. Chairperson, Mr. Cox.
The Budget and Goals Committee met at the School Board Office Conference Room on Monday, November the 1st, 2021, following the Transportation Committee meeting. Committee members present, Ms. Jan Benton, Mr. Bo Graham, and myself. Board members present, Ms. Kelly Dickerson, Mr. Brad Harris, Mr. Cecil Harris, Mr. Frank Perino, and Dr. Devin Gregoire. Others present, Superintendent Alan Murphy, Assistant Superintendent Steve Farrell, and Jody Purvis, and Carmel Brew, Norris Insurance Consultants, Inc. I called the meeting to order and stated the purpose of the meeting was for discussion and action on the following. A, LPPS salary schedule proposal, Superintendent Alan Murphy. Superintendent Murphy presented 3 proposals to adjust the salary schedule for central office positions as follows. Proposal 1, credit the business manager and assistant business manager with an advanced degree credential. Superintendent Murphy recommended advanced degree salary adjustments for the positions of business manager and assistant business manager retroactive to July 1st, 2021. A motion was offered by Mr. Graham, seconded by Ms. Benton, to approve the recommendation for advanced degree salary adjustments, and the vote on the motion was as follows. Yeas, Ms. Benton, Mr. Graham, and myself; nays, none, absent Mr. Brad Sharp. The vote was unanimous to present to the full board for approval. Proposal 2, adjust the sales tax director, assistant sales tax director, and
Mr.
MIS
Cox,
director.
do we want to do these one at a time?
No, we're going to just do them all at once.
Okay.
We can do that.
And MIS director salary. Superintendent Murphy recommended adjusting the salary schedule of the sales tax director from 1.60 index to a 1.65 index, and adjusting the salaries of the assistant sales tax director and MIS director from a 1.50 index to a 1.55 index. All adjustments will be retroactive to July 1st, 2021. A motion was offered by Mr. Graham, seconded by Ms. Benton, to approve the recommendation for the index adjustments, and the vote on the motion was as follows. Yeas, Ms. Benton, Mr. Graham, and myself; nays, none, absent Mr. Brad Sharp. The vote was unanimous to present to the full board for approval. Proposal 3, adjust the virtual school director to a 212-day position. Superintendent Murphy recommended adjusting the term of the contract for the virtual school director from a 202-day position to a 212-day position, retroactive July 1st, 2021. A motion was offered by Ms. Benton, seconded by Mr. Graham, to approve the recommendation to extend the contract for the virtual school director to 212 days, and the vote on the motion was as follows. Yeas, Ms. Benton, Mr. Graham, and myself; nays, none, absent Mr. Brad Sharp. The vote was unanimous to present to the full board for approval. B, cyber liability insurance, risk management coordinator Wendy Gill. Carmel Brew from Norris Insurance and Consultant, Inc. presented the cyber liability renewal effective October the 1st, 2021. The renewal reflects an increase of deductible to $100,000 per event and an annual premium of $49,725. After some discussion, a motion was offered by Ms. Graham, seconded by Ms. Benton, to accept the renewal as presented. The vote on the motion was as follows. Yeas, Mr. Sharp, Ms. Benton, Mr. Graham, and myself. Nays, none, absent none. The vote was unanimous to present to the full board for approval. A motion to adjourn was offered by Ms. Benton, seconded by Mr. Graham. And there being no further business before the committee adjourned.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cox.
On that last vote, Mr. Sharp should have been absent. That's a
Okay.
typo.
Okay, did everybody get that?
Yeah, on that last vote, Mr. Sharp should have been absent.
He actually was absent. It should have been,
He was.
should have been notated.
I got the number. I must have it on a different day, huh?
Yeah. Okay, this coming from a committee, we do not need a motion or a second. We will have a roll call vote. Mr. Dr. Gregoire.
Let's start proposal 1. Okay. The business manager and assistant business manager, I believe what was discussed in committee was moving them from a separated salary schedule to the 1.65 and 1.55 salary schedules respectively, and then to notate in their job descriptions that their pay columns can only come from the BX and MX columns.
That is correct.
So that's the proposal, and that needs to be notated in here, that they're not just making advanced degree credentials, we're actually moving them to a different index, because the whole point is we're going to be pulling those special columns out of the index altogether.
We're not moving them to a new index. We are moving them to a new page in the salary schedule book with
Same
a new
index,
investment.
but it's
Yes.
essentially a new index because it's a different page, but it's the same structured.
Yes, sir.
So we're moving
That
to
will
a
be
new
done.
page. Yeah.
Yes,
But
sir.
that needs to be notated in the minutes that that's what we're going to be doing, so that there's no confusion about when we remove the business manager column from the salary schedule. We don't have a problem with that because there is no more business manager position. It's been noted, moved, and noted.
Ms. Rhonda, would you please put in the notes that the administration will make notation in the book to include only the BX and MX salary schedule of a 150,
155.
actually a 155 and a 165, and we'll also add on to the job description at the bottom of the job description, which I believe already indicates the index. We will make sure the job descriptions are changed to reflect that they can only obtain a master's.
Correct. And
Yes.
then that way we can pull it out without any kind of issue when we redo the.
I'm
the
certainly
schedule.
okay with that. Yes, sir.
Is that where we're saving pages?
What's that?
Is that where we're saving pages?
That's where we're cutting out
Trying to
4
save some
pages.
pages,
Yeah,
yes.
cutting out 4 pages
We
from
save trees, okay.
And the previous ones are going to be done the same way. The 5 from the last
Yes,
board
sir.
meeting are going to be done the same way. It just wasn't explicitly stated in the, but we're going to do the same thing there. And then as far as the sales director, that's the same thing. They're going to be on the 165 and the 155 indexes. With the same caveats that they're going to be, those pages are going to be removed out.
Yes,
So
sir.
they won't be paid under the business manager page anymore. They'll be paid under the 165 and the 155 with the same caveats.
And I believe we did discuss that we would bring the revisions of that salary schedule to the
Right,
book, to the board.
that's in the future, but this covers that, so we don't have to go back and do anything more to that. As far as the virtual school director, I discussed my problems with that, which is why I would rather have an individual vote, because I don't want to vote nay on the whole thing, but I do
You
want
can
to
just
vote.
request that to be separated, and you
Yeah.
can vote from separate.
Yeah.
You talking about that proposal or all three
The
proposals?
three proposals separated out, or at least separate that proposal out from the,
I
from
would
the rest
suggest we
of the.
separate that proposal
You can
out.
take a vote on 1 and 2, and the third one would be separated out for a separate vote.
Yes, sir.
Then, good,
Yes, and that's all I have to say.
and then we'll separate for the cyber liability. Okay.
Okay, so what are we voting on?
We're
One
gonna
and two?
vote on, proposal
one and
1 and
two.
2 together right now, as a roll call.
Alrighty.
If there's no further discussion.
Ms. Dickerson?
No.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Perino?
Yes.
Dr. Gregoire?
Yes.
And Mr. Graham?
Yes. Okay, at this time,
Vote on.
we will vote on proposal number 3, a roll call, if there's no further discussion. Ms. Rhonda?
Ms. Dickerson?
No.
Ms. Benton? Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Perino?
Yes.
Dr. Gregoire?
No.
And Mr. Graham?
Yes. Okay, the last one, the cyber liability insurance. We'll take a roll call on that one if there's any other comments or questions. All right, Ms. Rhonda, call roll, please.
Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Ms. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Perino?
Yes.
Dr. Gregoire?
Yes.
And Mr. Graham?
Yes. Next agenda item, committee of the board as a whole. Committee of the board as a whole met on Monday, November the 1st, 2021, following the Budget Goals Committee meeting. The meeting was called to order by myself. Upon roll call, the following members were present: Ms. Kelly Dickerson, Ms. Jan Benton, Mr. Bradley Harris, Mr. Cecil Harris, Mr. Jeffrey Cox, Mr. Frank Perino, Dr. Devin Gregoire, and myself. Absent was Brad Sharp. A motion was offered by Ms. Benton, seconded by Mr. Cox, to go into executive session, and the vote on the motion was as follows. Yeas, Ms. Dickerson, Ms. Benton, Mr. Brad Harris, Mr. Cecil Harris, Mr. Cox, Mr. Perino, Dr. Gregoire, and myself. Nays, none. I declare the motion carried unanimously. The board reconvened, and upon roll call, the following members were present: Ms. Kelly Dickerson, Ms. Jan Benton, Mr. Bradley Harris, Mr. Cecil Harris, Mr. Jeff Cox, Mr. Frank Perino, Dr. Devin Gregoire, and myself. Absent was Mr. Sharp. A motion was offered
Dr. Gregoire.
by Dr. Gregoire, thank you, seconded by Ms. Benton, and the meeting was adjourned. Okay, we don't need to take any kind of vote on that because there was no action.
Report?
You can accept the report.
Just accept the
Yeah,
report.
yeah, we got
I'll
to,
make a motion to accept the report.
okay. Do we have to have a motion to accept it, or?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think
We
you
do.
do.
Yeah, we'll just accept the report,
Okay,
no
we got a
action.
second from Mr. Cecil Harris. Motion from Dr. Gregoire to accept the report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign. Unanimous. Next agenda item, approval of monthly financial reports and payment of invoices. I'll entertain a motion from Mr. Bradley Harris that we pay and Mr. Gregoire seconds that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed by the like sign. Unanimous. Next agenda item is superintendent's comments. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. I have two comments tonight that I'd like to focus on. The first one is regarding the recent approval of the vaccines for children 5 to 11. Those have been approved by the FDA and by the CDC. There seems to be some confusion as to whether or not we're required to, there's not any confusion on my part, whether or not we're required to vaccinate children. I want you to know that while we have been in contact daily, we were made aware of a letter. We followed up with the letter. We were told it is not required, but it's on there because they're eligible for the vaccination. We are in the process of manually changing all those letters. And I will state once again, which we've stated since we began all this with the pandemic, Livingston Parish Public Schools has no intention of vaccinating any children on our campuses because we feel like that decision is best left in the hands of the parents and their private medical provider.
You're here.
And we're really serious about that. I guess if it becomes a mandate, then we'll have to figure out how to respond to that. But I want to assure our parents that we are not going to vaccinate your children. If you would like to consult with our medical staff about that particular thing, that is more than fine, and we'll serve any parent's wishes on any of that. But we have no intention of holding any vaccination events on our campuses. Second thing is I would like to absolutely take just a second to point out, and we'll be putting out some information on this. Our principals elected their principals of the year this year at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. And I'm very, very pleased to announce that Miss Ginger Bishop from Northside Elementary was elected the elementary principal of the year in our parish. Miss Carolyn Wilkinson from North Corbin Junior High was elected the middle school principal of the year this year. And you saw this lady a few minutes ago, our high school principal of the year from Live Oak High School is Miss Beth Jones. Congratulations to those three principals. They work so hard and they're so deserving, and we're so very proud of them. As always, they will be competing regionally and then through the state for further honors for principal of the year. And I just can't tell you how proud we are of them. And I'd like to thank the board for always supporting our schools and supporting our principals. We can only be successful if we're all together, and I truly do believe we are all together. With that, Mr. Graham, that's the end of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Before we adjourn, we need to schedule a Budget Goes Committee meeting, preferably November 15th or 16th.
That would be Mr. Cox again.
Oh.
Our staff will be at the school law conference on the 15th and 16th in Baton Rouge. The 16th works much better for our staff. Understand that you guys need to do different things.
Do you remember the hours on that, Steve?
Well, usually the second day of that is a shorter day than the first day.
Okay, that's why you're suggesting the 16th.
Well, let us all look at our little calendars.
Well, y'all can have a meeting without us.
Well, I'm actually scheduled to be at that law conference also. Who cares, right, Steve?
I don't know. I got a Thanksgiving lunch at a school on the 16th. That's pretty important. We do too. Seventh Ward?
Seventh Ward.
Yeah, see, they invited me to y'all's.
Well, just look at it like this. You'll be well fed, and then you can come to the committee meeting.
Yeah, but then I might fall asleep. You know how boring they can be.
It's an I may be out of town.
Okay, is when on the
16th, I gotta be.
on the 16th?
Yeah. But
Well,
if Brad
the
Sharp's
chairman
here,
of the committee needs to have some input on this.
The way the day is fine with me.
I mean, Monday early would be okay, but
I prefer the 15th myself, guys. Sorry, but if y'all can't be here, you can't be here, right?
And I will make adjustments on my schedule. It's not a problem.
So you want to do the 15th?
can we do it at 3 o'clock?
Need to do it early?
Yeah, I have a class.
You a busy woman for a retired lady.
Okay. You want to do? All right, it looks like we're going to do this November the 15th at 3 o'clock. Monday the 15th at 3 o'clock. Okay.
That's it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Ms. Benton seconds Mr. Cox's motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed by like sign. It's unanimous. This meeting is adjourned.